We're gonna try to do this in one take. An hour-long take. Yeah, hour-long, yep. Just kidding, probably not that long, but you guys know I like talking. Okay, so we're gonna go over kind of like the A to Z of leg lock defense. This is something I've had a big issue with teaching in the past, simply because there's so many different intricacies and underlying concepts of leg locks and leg lock defense, so hopefully I can cover a majority of these in this video. Obviously, I'm just some random brown belt in Virginia, so if you want actual good leg lock stuff, go on BJJ Fanatics and buy the DVDs. But I liken leg locks a lot to reading, right? So there's a quote that I really love. It may ruffle some feathers, but there's a general who was big into reading in the U.S. military, and he said, "There's no difference between being illiterate and knowing how to read but choosing not to," right? You're functionally illiterate. And I kind of view leg locks in the same way. We can have a general ignorance of leg locks, right? We don't really know what they are, but then we have like the willful ignorance of, I'm not going to learn leg locks, right? And there's a very big stigma still behind leg locks, just because we don't want to get hurt, we got work in the morning, things of this nature. Either way, jiu-jitsu is a control-based sport leading to a submission, right? No one has an issue controlling someone from out and going into an arm bar, something that literally breaks the elbow. But for some reason, there's still a stigma behind controlling someone's leg and then trying to break that leg, right? So either way, it is jiu-jitsu. It is a modern part of the sport, something that we all need to know at least how to defend. So we're gonna go first into the key concepts of leg lock defense and, conversely, leg lock attacks. I have my little notebook right here, so if I look at it while I'm teaching, I apologize for my unprofessionality. So one of the main things that we need to know first is what a knee line is. All right, so if Isaac, let's say you just go saddle, say Isaac throws his legs over into a basic leg locking position, the knee line is anytime my knee is in front of his knees. One of the main goals of leg locks is to capture the knee line. So if we reverse engineer, one of my main goals as the defender is to somehow free my knee line. So now you see it's not my knee that's in front of his knees, they're now behind, right? Pretty much every leg locking position is gonna follow this rule, save some different variations, right? So the most important part, I would say, for initial leg lock defense is knowing where your knee line is and what the function of the knee line is, right? So if he controls my knee, that means he's probably controlling my hip as well, right? The joint above the knee. So if I can free my knee line, I now am no longer in a leg lock, I'm good to go. Also, let's look at the function of the knee, right? So we looked at the location of the knee, let's look at the function, right? The knee straightens and it bends. For heel hook defense, you want one of two variations. You either want the straight leg, right, where I push my leg deeper into the leg lock, or if we kind of turn around here, maybe I do the running man escape, I want my leg as bent as humanly possible. Right from here, there's no braking pressure. The danger of heel hooks comes when there is that slight bend in the knee, right? So if Isaac catches my heel here, you'll notice that my knee has a slight bend to it. If I were to extend my leg straight, he no longer has the heel bite. If, again, I were to pull my knee to my chest, I can loosen that up, right? So the location of the knee is in between and in front of his knees. The function of the knee is to extend or bend, right? We never want it in that middle ground of slightly bent. Okay, so that's very important for leg lock defense, specifically heel hooks. Let's look into now something that's very important for ankle lock defense especially, but also very important for heel hook defense as well. The braking pressure from leg locks can come from a rotation, it can come from some sort of like exposure, but a majority of the time, as with almost all limb isolation submissions, the bridge is what causes the braking. Okay, so if I'm in an ankle lock here, for instance, unless it's Mateusz Jasinski on your leg, most of the time they have to bridge into the fulcrum in order to break your leg, right? So if Isaac were just to rotate his shoulders back and not use his hips at all, he's never going to finish the ankle lock. But if he can get two things, if he can get to his side and he can push and bridge off of my hip, he can break my foot, right? So if I'm here in this ankle lock, right, I'm focusing on stopping his bridging ability, right? Right here, Isaac only has the ability to bridge his hips up. The mat is going to be stopping him from bridging. I can also peel a foot off to where now he has no way of bridging, right? If we look at the mode of bridging, right, this is gonna look very awkward, especially with Isaac just sitting here, right? I need to have my feet planted on the floor so I can lift my hips up. If my feet are flat, I can no longer bridge, all right? So that's very important, right? We wanna make sure we take away the bridging ability of our partner, specifically for ankle locks, okay? Next, let's see. Oh, this is the most important one. Stay calm, right? I think people are afraid of leg locks, and obviously when we are afraid of something, we make rash judgments and bad decisions. It'd be like if you're a firefighter and you go into a fire, right? You want to be as calm as humanly possible while in the fire. No firefighter worth their salt is gonna be like, oh, I'm just not gonna go into the fire. The fire is gonna come eventually. You have to be calm in it. And you have to be able to use your common sense, right? If you go into a fire blindly without the nozzle, you ain't gonna put the fire out, you're gonna get burned up, right? So a lot of what I see is like people get put in like leg locking positions, right? And they become afraid, they lose that sense of calm and of course a sense of common sense, and they literally just try to rip out of it. A majority of the injuries that happen with leg locks is from the defender's stupidity. Okay, so if we can maintain calm composure in leg locking scenarios, this is gonna help our defense tremendously. Right? Obviously, we're still in the heat, still in the fire, but we need to get comfortable there. The way you get comfortable there is by literally spending hours upon hours upon hours in that position. I've spent so many hours in leg lock exchanges that I know exactly where I'm safe and exactly where I'm not, right? So that's probably the most key insights as to like the concepts of leg lock defense. Okay, these are gonna kind of underpin everything that we do moving forward. So let's look first at prevention, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you're already in a dead to rights, fully locked in heel hook, you made several mistakes already. So let's look initially at how we can defend and prevent leg locks from even occurring. Okay, so if I'm here with Isaac, anytime I'm passing, this is generally speaking, this is where leg entanglements are gonna happen, is from the passing position. I don't want him to capture my knee line and control my leg. One of the easiest, most simple ways to stop this is a high leg, right? Let's say Isaac starts to attach this leg. I recognize this. I'm not gonna wait for him to put me in a leg lock. I'm going to preempt this by leaning my weight away and pulling my knee to my chest to disentangle out. Pretty much all of early stage leg lock defense is gonna be some form of a high leg, just bringing our knee to our chest. It can be literally anything. Let's say he goes into single leg X, right? I can even from here peel my leg out, right? I can high leg out, right? That's one of the main things. Like I think this guy likes leg locks. I need to high leg at the moment they grab a grip, right? So if he grabs a grip anywhere on my leg, right? I'm gonna high leg out of that. Okay, almost like if you get touched, you get burned type of deal. The next thing is we need to maintain inside position, right? Generally speaking, if Isaac has both of his legs inside of my legs, he's going to enter a leg entanglement, and this is not what we want for prevention's sake. This is why our gym especially focuses so heavily on the headquarters position and the knee cut position, right? Because now I'm splitting his legs. Now I know for a fact he has to pummel the outside leg inside in order to get a leg lock. Unless there's some very niche meta leg locks, right? If I'm in headquarters, I shouldn't be able to get leg locked. If you notice, Isaac has to pummel a leg inside in order to get a leg entanglement. So knowing this, I can prevent that by just grabbing the ankle. Okay, it's that simple. Not simple in practice, but it's simple in theory, as most things are in jiu-jitsu. This also comes to the next point. If we can control the feet and put downward pressure, they can't really move the legs that much, right? So if I'm in headquarters, I'm not controlling the legs. This is where he can start pummeling the leg over, not good, right? So I control the ankles and I put downward pressure to where now if Isaac tries to pummel this outside leg, I can follow it and track it. This is the importance of C grips, right? I know JT Torres calls them Lego man hands, right? This is a very, very important grip we need to make. Most people try to control the knee when they first start. They go here. This allows Isaac's legs to be mobile, right? I grab right on the ankles and I make sure I'm putting downward weight the entire time, right? So if we're putting this into a drill format or a sparring scenario, here's how I would look at it. He starts to grab my ankle, I high leg out. I control the ankles, I put downward pressure, and I step inside, controlling those ankles, making sure he doesn't have inside position, right? This is something that I'm always thinking about as I'm trying to pass the guard and prevent leg locks as a whole, right? So prevention is so important, right? If you can just get good at preventing leg locks, guard passing, and your life in general will just be so much easier. So we went over concepts, went over prevention. Now let's go over like actual escapes. Like we are actually in a leg locking scenario. What do we do? So very important, we know that there's like a bunch of different small techniques for each given leg lock situation. All right, it's funny, I was actually reading my Bible this morning, and the passage that I was focusing on was the Tower of Babel, where they were building something. Obviously everyone knows the story, and now everyone's confused because they tried to reach heaven without God. I feel like teaching leg locks a lot of the time is like I'm in the Tower of Babel, and I'm just trying to teach people all these leg lock positions, and they have no idea what I'm saying. So hopefully I can clarify right now and not create my own Tower of Babel. So let's look first at heel hook defense. Keeping the concepts in mind, we're already in it, right? One of the preventative measures is like the moment you're in it, try to free your knee line right away, right? Use whatever function you can to free your knee line. But let's say we are in this heel hook here, and maybe from here he catches my heel, okay? So again, let's think about the function of the knee and the function of the foot. I need to be able to point my toes forward, but you notice if I point my toes forward without moving my knee, nothing really happens. If I extend my leg and I don't point my foot, nothing happens, right? So it happens all at the same time, right? So this is for inside heel hooks. We're gonna go over outside heel hooks in just a second. But heel slipping is arguably the most important thing when it comes to heel hook defense, right? So notice, right, given the analogy of the firefighter again, I don't run away from the fire, I go into the fire, right? Because I have the tools I need to put it out, right? So I go deeper into the leg lock by pushing my toes forwards and straightening my leg. Okay, now from here, he no longer has a bite on my heel, okay? So now from here, I can start controlling the feet. Again, we're using kind of the same concepts as we've been using the entire video, right? I'm controlling the feet, I'm making sure I'm safe first before I start to turn and peel my leg out, right? If we're in an outside heel hook scenario, right? He starts catching an outside heel. Let's turn this way. Like just catch the heel on this side. Yep. Again, I need to extend my leg and point and slip my heel out. If I do the same heel slip mechanic as I did with the inside heel hook, I'm gonna break my own leg, right? So I shoot my leg deep, I point my toes, and now from here I can curl my foot to the other side. Okay, so heel slipping is very important. Honestly, when they catch the heel, this is where the fun starts, right? Once they start putting the braking pressure on, now I'm not chilling no more. But if I'm here, I need to make sure that I don't just give up, right? My least favorite thing is if I'm in Isaac's position and I get someone in a leg lock, they just do this. I didn't even apply the braking pressure yet, right? It's almost like getting in a spider web armbar and just tapping when your hands are locked, right? So even if he's here, I can still slip the heel, okay? So it's very important. The whole time I'm doing any of these heel slips, I'm trying to control a foot, right? So I can peel the foot off and slip my heel out. Now I can start using my other leg to free my knee line. Okay, so outside and inside heel hooks, very generally speaking, heel slipping is gonna be the way to go. Now let's look at ankle locks, right? Because this is something that I think everyone kind of also doesn't really know what they're doing, especially when they first start. So let's say Isaac puts ankle lock on, and from here, maybe I'm on my knees, right? Generally speaking, I want to try to build posture with ankle locks. If he stays on his back, unless he's just stupid strong, he shouldn't be able to finish the ankle lock. No amount of bridging is going to break my foot from here. It'll be painful, but we'll deal with it. I'm looking to keep him on his back and take away the thing that he bridges with, which is his foot. All right, so if I get here, now I no longer have to worry about the ankle lock. In fact, I can start now stepping over, pushing the knee, and maybe even getting to mount. Okay, so as we're here, right, I don't want him to turn to a side. If he turns to a side, now I'm getting worried. Because if you notice, Isaac's back is now off of the mat. Nothing is stopping his bridge. Okay, this is where I start getting a little scared, being honest. Okay, so what I do is I just point his knees back to the ceiling. That inherently means his chest is gonna be facing up as well. So I pull his knees, get him facing back up. Now I'm gonna build height to get out, to kind of like relieve the pressure here. Okay, If you struggle with balance, I personally go to my knee here. I don't like stepping up because I feel like I'm more wobbly here, honestly. So I like to stay on my knee, okay? You can also make a boot here. I've got really weak feet, so I don't do that. But if he's on his back, he really shouldn't have the braking pressure needed. So now let's look into actual like individual techniques that we can use that I personally really like to avoid these leg locking positions and to escape heel hooks. Okay, so let's say we're in saddle. Let's go saddle first. Okay, we're in saddle first. Generally, let's scoot this way a little bit. When I'm here, I'm going to start to rotate, right? The running man escape. This is like the most basic escape that we can do. I need to first hide my heel. If I start to turn this way and he's caught my heel, my leg's broken. So I need to hide my heel first by going deeper into leg lock as I heel slip. And now you see I'm controlling that top ankle. Now I'm gonna start to build up to my knee, right? As we get here, a lot of things can happen. I can use my secondary leg, the leg that's playing on the floor, to peel my leg out, okay? A lot of the time, there's gonna be like 4 or 5 roll throughs, and the whole time, I'm thinking about peeling my leg out. So with any submission escape, the more movement there is, the more likelihood there is of escape. If you're sitting here in a heel hook, and he's caught the heel, and you're just like grabbing the person's head, you're not generating movement. In fact, you're actually keeping them here. Okay, so anytime I'm in a leg lock, I need to move with common sense. Right, don't move this way, you're dead. Move this way. All right, so I heel slip, I start to roll out, and you see I'm using my other leg pretty much immediately to start to push with my secondary leg, and I pull with my other leg to free that knee line. Super basic, like that's like number 1. Outside heel hook. So we're here, generally speaking, we're an outside ashi from here. So throw your other leg over. Yep, like over this way. So Isaac almost went to a reap because that's what he's been working. If they reap, you need to like start doing something, all right? Because the reaping heel hook is by and large one of the best braking positions as we're currently seeing in competition. So if let's just go over that first. If he starts to throw the reaping leg over, I need to be able to catch that foot and peel it, right? If he has a full reap, this is no good, right? You see how my knee is internally rotated? The bend that he wants is perfect, right? So if I get to a full reap, I'm going to, again, control the leg, go up to my knee, and extend my leg straight. Even if he has a heel hook grip here, he's not going to be able to finish the heel hook because there's not a bend in my knee, and I've also misaligned my knee from his bridging power. Right now from here, I can start to peel the reaping leg out, pass the legs across, okay? Outside ashi is like one of the, I went against a guy, Reese Lefevre, the greatest outside ashi I've ever felt in my life. It was kind of wicked, honestly. And most people, when you get them an outside ashi, you can pass their guard with it. Some guys specialize in this position, so it's better to just not get put in it at all. So look, if he has an outside heel hook, I'm going to slip my heel in, right? So I turn my heel towards his lower back, boom. Now I need to stop his bridging. So what I do to do that is I'm gonna take my hand, I'm gonna weave it in front of his hips and cup the far hip. Now I can keep his hips wedged on the floor. So even if he has like an ankle lock or anything like that, I can stop that bridge. Now I'm gonna bridge up to my knee like so, okay? He still has an outside ashi, but again, I'm controlling the bridging power of his hips. If he pushes me away, maybe with his hand, and he gets his foot back on my hip in some way, I'm immediately gonna peel that out, right? Because I can't get close to him if his feet are on me. All right, so I peel his legs away, and I try to control that hip. Now, in order to pass the guard from here, all I'm gonna do is shoot my leg super deep to the side, bring my knee to the floor, and now I can bring my head over top of his head, and we kind of just chill here until he decides to let go and I can pass his guard. Right? You can kind of notice, generally speaking, that a lot of the details for defense are the same. I'm stopping his bridging, I'm being smart with my defending leg, and ultimately I'm just trying to control his hips, right? And one of the most important things is kind of overlooked is sometimes you just need to go deeper into the leg lock, right? It doesn't really make sense to try to run away when they've caught your heel. Right, so anytime I'm in a leg lock, I sometimes need to force myself deeper into the position. The way I do that is by taking away the things that are preventing me from getting there. Right, so let me use a quick example. If he has outside ashi, feet playing on the hips, maybe he's got an ankle lock, for instance. I go feet stomping on the hips. Here, I'm not getting out of this if I run away. If I run away, I drag Isaac with me. So I need to get closer to him, but his legs are stopping me, right? So I need to peel his legs out of the way first. Now I can get close and grab his hip to stop any sort of attack. Right now from here, I can build up to my knee and I can start getting even closer to him, all right? So these are just general ideas. Again, just some random brown belts. I don't got all the knowledge, but I do, generally speaking, know how to defend leg locks in a broad sense, right? There's a bunch of different intricacies that can happen. Again, go pay $500 for Gordon Ryan's leg locking DVD. Here you get it for free. So these are kind of like the levels that I would like for people to practice as they get further and further along in their jiu-jitsu journey. So we start like with concepts, like what is the foundation of what we're even trying to do defense-wise? And then we can talk about prevention, right? It's better just to prevent a leg lock from even happening, right? It's one of the best things to focus on. And then we can start getting into early and late stage defenses. Then the final level, which everyone for some reason just skips to, is counterattacking. Everyone and their mother, when they learn an ankle lock, decides to get in a shootout. And you know, I love watching white belts beat each other to death. I don't love watching them break each other's legs because it just looks bad. They don't know how to do it. But counterattacking is a fantastic option from leg locks, but you need to know everything else beforehand before you do this. Right? So don't just be falling back on ankle locks and hope for the best even if they're torquing on your leg. We need to know a lot of jiu-jitsu in order for this stuff to work. Right? So generally speaking, if I'm passing, I want to make the leg entrance as hard as humanly possible so they do all of the work for me and then I just take all the credit for it. Think about back to high school when I was in group projects and all of my teammates would do the classwork for me. I would just put my name on the final assignment and get a 100. That's why I didn't succeed in college. Anyways, so I want him to do all the work. And then if I feel comfortable in the leg exchange, right, this is like the last level that we should focus on, I can counterattack from there. So let's say, just for instance, Isaac is going single leg X to outside ashi. When he goes shin to shin, I'm going to put as much weight on him as humanly possible, right? I want him to work to get this leg lock. Maybe he elevates me and he gets single leg X, right? From here, I'm gonna start putting my weight onto him, right? Maybe, just maybe, if you're feeling real good, you can bait them into to taking another leg entanglement that you prefer, right? So sometimes from here, single leg X, what I do is I'll come up here and I actually pass the leg to outside ashi, okay? Again, I am making him work. It doesn't take much to make him work, right? I have gravity on my side. I can just lay on him, right? Being safe, obviously. So now, in theory, Isaac is more tired than I am, and I can just take the leg that he worked so hard to get to. All right, so one of my favorite outside ashi counters, right, is to underhook this leg. I stole this from Taylor Pearman, so go buy his DVD as well. I underhook this outside leg, and I come up to my feet. I'm gonna turn my knees towards the side that I underhook, like this. Okay, now I go down to my forehead, and now I can catch my own heel hook from here, okay? Again, I'm not gonna go over breaking mechanics or like actual leg locks because that's not for this video. But this is the counters, right? If he has me in single leg X, you can start, once he throws that leg over, you can start peeling it in front. We have the Bodoni foot lock here. I've seen some guys be able to wrap up an ankle lock themselves, invert their knee, and attack their own straight ankle, okay? The one that's hot on the market right now, he has saddle, you honey stick him, right? You pull that leg through, and now you are in a counter leg lock. Again, the problem with this is if you do it right away, you literally don't know what you're doing, right? You don't even know the Japanese names for the techniques. If you don't know the Japanese names, you probably shouldn't even be doing leg locks. But maybe you do know the Japanese names. Maybe you watch a lot of anime like me. Maybe now we can start dabbling in counter leg locks. But one of the best defenses to leg entanglements, as we have seen time and time again, is the berimbolo. I have a kind of a rule of thumb. For every leg entanglement, there is an equal and possibly better bolo counter. Okay, so I'm gonna show some of those bolo counters right now. Again, this is more advanced stuff, so if you don't even know what a Baron bolo is, don't even try it. Let's say he has outside ashi, right? Again, we're really harping on this because, you know, if I get a rematch against Reese Lefevre, I want to try to beat the guy, you know what I mean? So look, from here, I build the height, I can peel the feet, and now with one leg in the middle, generally speaking, if I can free my knee line, I can take the back. Okay, so that's another counter that we can do. Instead of just disengaging, which is fine, I want to use the entanglement to progress position, even if he's the one that got me in it. All right, so if my knee is cleared, I'm in a bolo. My knee is not cleared, I'm in danger. So look, we're an outside ashi, his legs on the outside. I can start stacking his hips up, and I can bring my knee, wedge it underneath, and now I can start looking to take the back. Let's say we're in 50-50, let's go this side. I've only done this one time, so if it looks bad, I apologize, but it's really cool looking. So, we're in 50-50. Again, my knee is in, I'm thinking leg locks. If my knee is freed, I am thinking either re-attack onto the secondary leg or go bolo, right? So let's say, from here, I build up to my knee, right? Making sure I'm safe. I bring my elbow in front or behind his thigh, and I'm gonna force my knee to touch my elbow, just like this. My knee is out, by God, I got a bolo. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is go to my forehead. I'm gonna bring my other knee behind to help kind of push my leg out. And now from here, I can start controlling the hips, start to go down, and I can start going into crab ride and various things. I didn't speak on this in the concepts, probably should have. If your knees are together and your knee line's free, they have nothing, right? If Isaac tries to get my leg exposed, to try to like enter my legs here, and I can somehow pinch my knees together, enter my leg, he can't, because he can't capture my knee line. Right, so one of the best defenses, if you go against a guy who's got a good bolo, is they pinch their knees together. Right? Not only does this negate the knee line, but it also makes it a lot easier to start doing the fancy stuff that we all want to learn how to do. Okay, so not too many techniques, mainly more concepts, but A to Z, right? We have the concepts of leg entanglement, defense and offense. We have prevention, how to not even get into stuff. We have 3, general defense leading to disengagement, right? Freeing our knee line and getting the hell out of there so we can start passing this guy. Or we have counterattacks where we make them do all the work for us and then we take advantage of that, right? By either counter leg locking or if our knee line is freed, starting to attack the back with the 3 bolo positions, crab ride, leg drag, and the wedge. Again, this is all just theory. I'm a big guy on theory, right? Practice, I suck. But in theory, I know what jiu-jitsu is. So this is like just leg lock defense 101. Again, I have trouble teaching it because obviously I talk for a lot. I don't have a class with me. I don't have them doing drills. So this is a good video to kind of watch and review just so you can stay sharp on your leg lock defense or perhaps learn a couple of things that you can probably apply later. I will talk about application of leg lock defense. Don't be afraid to get submitted. From white belt to now, I started almost every single class in a leg entanglement. Right? I would have my partners just put me in a leg lock and I would tap, right, when I was submitted. That's how we get good at leg locks. Right? That's the same way of how we get good at close guard. You just start in close guard every single day. The same way we get good at the back. Just start on the back every day. Right? So don't vilify leg locks just because they are the unknown. Right? Again, we have a fear of the unknown. Once it's known, we're no longer afraid of it. So get knowledgeable in the positions. Be ready to lose. Be ready to experience your ignorance, right? Because everyone's going to be ignorant of everything if they don't know it. Don't treat leg locks as like, oh, that's just for the young, flexible guys. Because either way, you're going to be rolling with the young, flexible guys at some point. And wouldn't it be damn awesome if you could counter leg lock them, take their game from them? So don't run from it, right? It's jiu-jitsu, right? I've never heard anyone in my life say, you know what? I don't take the back. I just feel like it's dangerous and I don't want to do that. Everyone freaking loves taking the back, right? So keep that same mindset, right? Don't be logically inconsistent with your viewpoint on jiu-jitsu, right? Because if you apply your thought process with leg locks and it's like, I don't do that stuff, it's just not for me, you have to apply it with all of jiu-jitsu. Quick rant aside. But again, leg lock defense, I probably missed like 90% of leg lock stuff, but I'm also a brown belt. What can you ask me? Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one.